Hello, children. Here comes the much awaited story of Ram. This is a beautiful story of a man who was an epitome of patience, love, obedience, courage, and sacrifice. Rama was born as a crown prince of Ayodhya. He was a good son to his father, a perfect student to his teacher, a wonderful brother, a loving husband, and a great king to his people. Rama was wise and always meeting every challenge with calmness and intelligence. He was bright and strong like the sun, and calm, patient, and pleasing like the moon. His bow is the infinite symbol, the symbol of life. Sita was his loving wife, and his brother Lakshman was his support and strength. Hanuman was his greatest bhakt, and like the arrow from his bow, ever obeying and fulfilling Ram's every request. The story we will narrate begins with the Balkand, the early years of Ram as a child, and then his years at Gurukul, at the ashram of their Kulguru Rishi Vashishtha. Let us all hear this story as told by Hanumanji, which has been told so many times, yet always so fresh and inspiring. Jai Siya Ram.
Good evening, kids. Welcome back to StoryTime with Hearty Women. Today we have 4 stories again for you, beautiful ones in English, Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu. So, shall we begin? This is your host Meera Vishwanath. I am a storyteller and a puppeteer. So, the first story I have for you today is about a little boy. A little boy who lived with his grandmother in a huge, beautiful kingdom. The boy was very good at heart, but he had a habit which was not so good. He had the habit of stealing or picking things. His grandmother tried to tell him many times, "Little one, please do not steal. It's not good," she said. But the boy just couldn't help himself. "Grandma, when I see something, my hand just goes and grabs it. I can't help it," said the little boy innocently. The grandmother thought about it for a while and said, "Okay, why don't you do something? Just speak the truth. No matter how hard the situation is, always speak the truth. Just promise me this." The boy thought, "All right, I can do it." He promised to his grandmother that he would always speak the truth. The next day, he was picking little things. Something from here, something from there. Then he thought, "Well, why don't I steal something big? So I will have a lot of money and I do not have to steal anything anymore again. What is more precious than the king's crown?" With this idea, he walked the next day to the palace. And at the gate, there were guards, and they would not let anybody in. But they looked at the little boy and asked, "Little boy, what is it that you want? Why have you come here?" And the boy said, "I have come to steal the king's crown." They laughed and they let him in. The guards thought it was a joke. The boy went in and he roamed about in the palace, which was just so beautiful. It was beyond his imagination. Then he went from one room to the other looking for the king's crown. Suddenly, he saw a man in front of him. The man asked him, "Dear boy, why are you here? What is it that you're looking for?" The little boy said, "Well, sir, I have come here to steal the king's crown." The man was puzzled at the boy's answer, but he took him by his hand and led him to a huge room, the king's room. And the boy saw on the table the king's crown. He took it in his hands and turned around. The man had left. "Wow, I have it in my hands." But when he looked at the crown, he saw the beautiful gem in the crown, studded. He plucked it out because he remembered that the precious stone, it belonged to the king's father. So he plucked the stone and put it on the table and left. The next day, there was a big announcement. Everybody knew that the king's crown was stolen. Everyone was wondering who could it be. The king asked his men to bring the boy who lived with his grandmother. The boy did not understand how did they find out it was him. One look at the king and he understood everything, because this was the man who helped him, took his hand and led him to the king's room. So the one who led him to the crown was none other than the king himself. He put his hand together and apologized to the king. "Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I was the one who took your crown." The king turned to his minister and said, "So, what else is missing in my room?" The minister said, "Sir, this boy has not just stolen your crown, he has also stolen a bag of gold coins." "Is it?" said the king. "Yes, sir. Yes, indeed." "My dear little boy, now you tell me the truth. What have you taken from my room?" The little boy said, "Sir, I have just taken the crown. I plucked out the gemstone and put it on the table because I know it's very precious for you. It's very close to your heart." The king turned to the court and said, "This boy has not lied." When he was asked by the guards, he did not lie. Neither did he lie to me. He is more truthful than my minister, who has been serving me for years, but he has also been fooling me for years. So saying, the king patted the little boy and said, "Little one, you have opened my eyes to the truth. This minister is to be jailed. Put him behind bars," he ordered. And the boy was made his minister. "I need somebody by my side who is always truthful, whom I can trust," said the king. And the boy stopped stealing, and he lived happily with his grandmother in the palace. Values are the compass in our life. When we are at the crossroads of our life, it's the values which help us decide the right direction, the right path. Like the little boy who was not able to overcome the habit of stealing, but by sticking on to the truth, he was able to do so. Next, we have a story in Hindi by Ketki. She is a voice artist and a vocalist.
हेलो बच्चों, आज मैं जो कहानी आप लोगों के लिए लेके आई हूँ, उस कहानी को सुनकर आप लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगेगा और इसमें आप लोगों को बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें भी सीखने मिलेंगी। ये जो कहानी है ना, जो मैं आज आप लोगों को सुना रही हूँ, वो किसी देश के राष्ट्रपति की कहानी है। जब वो उस समय की बात है जब वो बहुत छोटे थे, छोटे से बच्चे थे। उस समय वो बहुत सेल्फिश थे, बहुत स्वार्थी थे और हमेशा सिर्फ अपने बारे में सोचते थे। और उनके ऐसे स्वभाव के कारण सब उनसे दूर रहते थे। कोई उनसे बात नहीं करता था, उनका कोई फ्रेंड भी नहीं था और वो बहुत उदास और अकेले रहते थे। और ऐसे में उनके पापा ने उनकी बहुत मदद की। उनके पापा ने उन्हें 3 बातें सिखाई। एक दिन क्या हुआ, उनके पापा ने 2 बोल नूडल्स बनाए और दोनों बाउल्स नूडल्स के टेबल पर रख दिए। एक जो बोल था उसमें नूडल्स के ऊपर एक एग रखा था, एक अंडा रखा था, और जो दूसरा बोल था उसमें कोई एग नहीं था। तो उनके पिताजी ने उनसे कहा, मेरे बच्चे चुनो कि तुम्हें कौन सा बोल चाहिए है। इन्हें एग्स बहुत पसंद थे तो इन्होंने एग्स वाला बोल चुना। और फिर उसने और उनके पिताजी ने दोनों ने नूडल्स खाने शुरू किए। और ये जो छोटा बच्चा था ना, उसे अपनी बुद्धिमानी पर बड़ा गर्व हो रहा था। उसे ये सोचकर बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था कि उसने एक अच्छा डिसीजन लिया। पर थोड़ी देर से क्या हुआ, जब उसने अपने पापा का बोल देखा तो उसे बहुत आश्चर्य हुआ देख के। उसके पापा के बोल में नूडल्स के नीचे 2 एग्स रखे थे। ये देख के उस बच्चे को बहुत दुख हुआ और बहुत पछतावा भी हुआ। उसे लगा कि मैंने डिसीजन लेने में शायद थोड़ी सी जल्दबाजी की और इसके लिए वो खुद को ही दोष देने लगा, खुद को बुरा भला बोलने लगा। इस पर उसके पिताजी हल्के से मुस्कुराए और उससे कहा, बेटा हमेशा याद रखना, जो दिखता है जरूरी नहीं है कि वही सच हो। अगर तुम्हारी नीयत लोगों का फायदा उठाने की होगी तो तुम्हें नुकसान होगा और हार हमेशा तुम्हारी होगी। अगले दिन फिर से उसके पापा ने 2 बोल नूडल्स बनाए और टेबल पर रख दिए। और सेम सिचुएशन, एक बोल में ऊपर एग था, दूसरे बोल में एग नहीं था। और फिर उनके पापा ने उनसे कहा, बेटा चुनो तुम्हें कौन सा बोल चूज करना है। इस बार उसने होशियारी दिखाई और उसने कौन सा बोल चूज किया होगा, बिना एग वाला। क्योंकि उसको याद आया कि कल जो बिना एग वाला बोल था, जिसके ऊपर एग नहीं था, उस बोल में नूडल्स के नीचे 2 एग्स मिले थे। इस वजह से उसने इस बार वो बाउल चूज किया जिसमें ऊपर एग नहीं था। और उसने अपने नूडल्स का बोल अपने पास लिया और उसने नूडल्स हटा के देखे तो उस बोल में एग था ही नहीं। उसको लगा था आज भी नूडल्स के नीचे एग मिलेगा, पर था ही नहीं। इस पर उसने अपने पिताजी की तरफ देखा, उसने अपने पापा की तरफ देखा तो उसके पापा फिर से धीरे से मुस्कुराए और उन्होंने कहा, बेटा तुम्हें हमेशा अपने पिछले अनुभवों पर भरोसा नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि जरूरी नहीं है कि जो पिछली बार हुआ हो वही इस बार भी हो। जिंदगी में कई बार ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि कोई आपको धोखा दे, कोई आपके साथ छल करे। ऐसे में इन अनुभवों से आपको नाराज या दुखी नहीं होना चाहिए। बस इन अनुभवों को एक सबक की तरह, एक सीख की तरह स्वीकार करना चाहिए और आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। अब आया तीसरा दिन और उसके पिताजी ने फिर से 2 बोल नूडल्स के टेबल पे रखे और वापस से कहा, चुनो मेरे बच्चे तुम कौन सा बोल चूज करोगे। इस बार उस बच्चे ने क्या किया होगा, इस बार उसने अपने पापा से कहा, पापा आप पहले चुन लीजिए, आप फैमिली के हेड हो और आप बड़े हो, तो आप पहले चुन लीजिए, आपको जो बाउल चाहिए हो आप वो ले लीजिए। तो उनके पिताजी ने एक बोल चूज किया जिसपे ऊपर एक एग रखा हुआ था। जब उस बच्चे ने अपने बोल से नूडल्स खाना शुरू किए तो उसे लगा था कि उसके बोल में एक भी एग नहीं होगा। लेकिन ये क्या, नूडल्स खाते खाते उसने देखा कि उसके बोल में 2 एग्स थे और उन एग्स को देख के इस बच्चे को बहुत आश्चर्य हुआ और बहुत खुशी भी हुई। उसने अपने पापा की तरफ फिर से देखा। उसके पापा बहुत प्यार से उसको देखकर मुस्कुराए और उनसे कहा, मेरे बच्चे, ये कभी मत भूलना कि जब आप दूसरों की भलाई के लिए सोचते हैं ना, तो आपके साथ हमेशा अच्छा ही होता है। तो ये 3 बातें, ये 3 लेसन्स जो उनके पापा ने उन्हें दिए थे, वो उनको हमेशा लाइफ टाइम याद रहे और इन 3 सीखों का फ़ायदा उनको उनकी ज़िंदगी में हमेशा काम आया। तो ये थी आज की कहानी। अब आप मुझे ये सोच के बताइएगा कि अगर आपने कभी किसी के साथ कुछ अच्छा किया है, किसी की मदद की है, किसी की हेल्प की है, तो उसकी हेल्प करके आपको कैसा लगा? और साथ ही मुझे ये भी बताइएगा कि जिसकी हेल्प आपने की उसको कैसा लगा। ठीक है?
Thank you, Ketki, for this beautiful story of life lessons shared by the father to a son. The next story we have is from Panchatantra in Telugu by Sridevi ji. Sridevi ji is a law graduate with many feathers in her hat, and she also loves narrating stories to children.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ పిల్లలు, బాగున్నారా? ఈరోజు నేను మీకు చెప్పబోయే కథ పంచతంత్ర కథల్లోంచి మిత్రలాభం అనే కథ. ఈ కథలో మనం వెళ్ళే ముందు నేను ఒక పెద్ద అడవిలోకి తీసుకెళ్తాను మిమ్మల్ని. ఆ అడవిలో చాలా బోలెడని ఎలకలు ఉంటాయన్నమాట. ఆ ఎలకలన్నీ ఒకరోజు సమావేశం అవుతాయి. అందులో ఒక ఎలక అంటుంది, మిత్రులారా, మనం అందరము ఇక్కడ ధాన్యం ఏరుకొని తింటున్నాం కదా, రోజు అది మన భోజనం కదా, మనం ఒకే రకం ధాన్యం తింటున్నాం, ప్రతిరోజు ఒకే రకం. మనకి అది తిని 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 బోర్ కొట్టేసింది. ఏం చేద్దామంటే మనం ఈ ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్కి వెళ్ళిపోదాం, ఇంకో అడవికి వెళ్ళిపోదాం. అక్కడ మనకు కావాల్సినన్ని రకరకాల ధాన్యాలు ఉంటాయి, అన్ని రకాలు మనం ఏరుకొని తినచ్చు, వెళ్దామా అనేసి అడుగుతుంది. అందులో ఒక పెద్దలకి అంటుంది, వద్దు మిత్రమా, అలా వెళ్ళడానికి నేను ఒప్పుకోను. ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ మనని వేటగాళ్ళు వాళ్ళందరూ మనని అక్కడ వేటాడతారు, మనకి ప్రాణగండం ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడైతే ఇలాగే ఇచ్చినప్పటి నుంచి ఇలాగే ఉన్నాము, ఈ దీంట్లోనే ఉన్న దాంట్లోనే మనము ఏది దొరికితే అది తినేసి సరిపెట్టేసుకుందాం, వెళ్ళొద్దు అనేసి అంటుందన్నమాట. చిన్న చిన్న ఎలుకలు ఉన్నాయి కదా, బుజ్జి బుజ్జి ఎలుకలు, అవన్నీ అంటే అవునవును, ఈ పెద్ద ఎలుక చెప్పింది కరెక్టే, మనం ఇక్కడే ఉందాం, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళొద్దు అనేసి అంటారు. ఈ ఎలక మాత్రం అంటుంది, లేదు, నేను బయటకు వెళ్ళిపోతాను, ఇక్కడ నాకు బోర్ కొట్టేసింది, నేను ఇంక తినలేను ఇక్కడ అనేసి బయలుదేరిపోతుంది. అది ఇంకా వీళ్ళెవరి కోసం ఎదురు చూడదు, ఒక్కతే బయలుదేరిపోయి బుడి 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 అడుగులు వేసుకుంటూ అలాగ వెళ్తూ ఉంటుంది. అలా వెళ్తూ 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 ఉండగా ఆ మార్గ మధ్యలో ఒక చెట్టు, పెద్ద చెట్టు వస్తుందన్నమాట. ఆ చెట్టు మీద పెద్ద డేగ కనిపిస్తుంది. ఆ డేగ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే లటుక్కుమని వచ్చేసి ఈ ఎలకను పట్టుకుంటుంది. పట్టుకుని తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటుంది. ఎలక్కేమో భయం వేసేస్తూ ఉంటుంది, ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది, అయ్యో నన్ను వదిలేసేయి, నన్ను వదిలేసేయి, నన్ను చంపొద్దు అని ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఈ డేగేమో దాన్ని ఒక చెట్టు, పెద్ద చెట్టు మీద పిల్లలు ఉంటారు, ఎవరు, ఈ డేగ పిల్లలు ఉంటారు, అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్తుంది అనమాట. తీసుకెళ్ళి, పిల్లలు మనకి 2-3 రోజుల నుంచి ఆహారం లేదు కదా, ఇదిగో మీకు తీసుకొచ్చాను చూడండి ఎలకని, ఇది తినండి, అందరం కలిసి తిందామా అనేసి అంటే ఎలకంటుంది, పిల్లలు, నేను మీకు ఫ్రెండ్లాగా ఉంటాను, నేను మీకు ఏ అపకారం చెయ్యను, మీకు చాలా హెల్ప్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాను, ఎప్పుడు మీతో పాటే ఉంటాను, కూర్చుంటాను, సరేనా, మీరు ఏది ఎలా చెప్తే అలా వింటాను, మీ అమ్మకి చెప్పరా నన్ను చంపొద్దని, ప్లీజ్ చెప్పరా అనేసి అంటే ఈ పిల్లలు అంటే, అమ్మ ప్లీజ్ అమ్మ, దాన్ని చంపకమ్మా, ఎలకని మాతో పాటే ఆడుకుంటూ ఉంటుంది, దీన్ని ఇలాగా వదిలేసేయమ్మా, మాతో ఉంటుంది కదమ్మా అని అంటే డేగ అంటుంది, మనకు 2 రోజుల నుంచి ఆహారం లేదు కదమ్మా, దీన్ని వదిలేస్తే ఎలాగంటే, పోనీలేమ్మా, వేరే ఇంకేదైనా దొరుకుతుందేమో మనకి, దీన్ని మాత్రం వదిలేద్దాం అనేసి అంటుంది. పిల్లలందరూ అనేసరికి డేగ మనసు మార్చుకొని ఆ ఎలకని వదిలేస్తుంది. డేగ పిల్లలు తర్వాత ఎలక అందరూ కలిసి కలిసిమెలిసి ఉంటుంటారు. ఆడుకోవడం, వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడంటే అక్కడ తిరగడం అన్నీ చేస్తుంటారు. వాళ్ళ అమ్మేమో పిల్లలకి ఆహారం తీసుకొచ్చి పెడుతూ ఉంటుంది. డేగ తెచ్చి పెడుతూ ఉంటే పిల్లలు తింటూ ఉంటాయి. ఎలకేం చేస్తుందంటే అక్కడ ఏదైనా దొరికితే అవి తినేసి మొత్తానికి అడ్జస్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. అలా రోజులు గడిచిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. ఒక్కొక్క రోజు ఒకరోజు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఈ పిల్లలు ఉన్నారే, ఈ చిన్న పిల్లలు ఉన్నాయి కదా, వీటికి ఆహారం తీసుకొద్దామని వాళ్ళ అమ్మ ఒకసారి బయటకు వెళ్తుంది అనమాట. ఆ వెళ్ళిన టైంలో ఒక వేటగాడు వస్తాడు అక్కడికి. వేటగాడు వచ్చేసి ఈ చిన్న చిన్న డేగ పిల్లల్ని చూసి వాటి మీదకి ఒక పెద్ద వల విసురుతాడు. ఆ వలలో చిక్కుకుపోతాయి, ఇవన్నీ ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటాయి. అమ్మ మమ్మల్ని కాపాడండి, ఎవ్వరు లేరు, మా అమ్మ లేదు, బయటికి వెళ్ళిపోయింది, మేము ఎలాగ ఇందులో చిక్కుకుపోయాం, మేము ఎలా బయటికి రావాలి. ఎలక కూడా బయటికి వెళ్తుంది అనమాట. ఎవరు ఉండరు, చుట్టూరు ఎవరు కనిపించరు. ఏడ్చేసి అమ్మ మమ్మల్ని కాపాడండి, మాకు 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 భయం వేస్తోంది, మేము ఇందులో ఉండిపోయాం, చిక్కుకుపోయాం, మమ్మల్ని వదిలించండి, మమ్మల్ని వదిలిపెట్టండి ప్లీజ్ అనేసి ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటాయి. ఎక్కడి నుంచో ఎలక వస్తుంది. అప్పుడే వస్తూ ఈ పిల్లల్ని చూస్తుంది. అయ్యో ఇవి డేగ పిల్లలు ఇందులో చిక్కుకున్నాయే, పిల్లలు ఏడవకండి, భయపడకండి, నేను వచ్చేసాను, నేను మిమ్మల్ని అందరినీ విడిపించేస్తాను చూడండి అనేసి. దాని పళ్ళు ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే చాలా పదునుగా ఉంటాయి ఎలక పళ్ళు. దాంతో మెల్లిమెల్లిగా చిన్న చిన్నగా వాటిని అలాగా కొరికేస్తుంది పళ్ళతోటి. కొరికేసరికి అవన్నీ ఊడిపోతుంది. వాళ్ళంతా ఊడిపోయేసరికి ఈ పిల్లలన్నీ నవ్వుకుంటూ సంతోషంగా బయటకు వచ్చేస్తాయి. ఈ వేటగాడు అలా చూస్తూ ఉంటాడు దూరం నుంచి. అయ్యో ఇవన్నీ అంటే చేతి వరకు వచ్చి ఇంక పట్టుకోలేడుగా, చేత్తో ఎగిరిపోతాయి అన్నమాట. పక్షి పిల్లలన్నీ ఎగురుతూ చెట్టు మీదకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. వాళ్ళ అమ్మ వస్తుందన్నమాట. వాళ్ళ అమ్మ వచ్చాక చెప్తారు పిల్లలందరూ, అమ్మ నువ్వు బయటికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు పెద్ద వేటగాడు వచ్చాడు, మా మీద వల వేస్తే మేము అందరం చిక్కుకుపోయాం, మేము చచ్చిపోయేవాళ్ళం. ఈ ఎలక ఉంది కదా మా ఫ్రెండ్, ఇది మమ్మల్ని అందరినీ కాపాడిందమ్మా అనేసి చెప్పేసరికి ఈ డేగ అంటుంది, మిత్రమా నీకు ధన్యవాదాలు మిత్రమా, నా పిల్లల్ని నేను లేనప్పుడు కాపాడావు, నీకు చాలా నీ రుణాన్ని మేము తీర్చుకోలేము, ఎంత సహాయం చేసావో తెలుసా నా పిల్లలకి, ఇవి ఈరోజు బతుకున్నాయంటే నీ వల్లనే, ఎంతో సహాయం చేసావు, నీ కృతజ్ఞత మేము మర్చిపోలేము, ధన్యవాదాలు అనేసి చెప్తుంది. చెప్తే ఎలాకంటుంది, ఆ రోజు నువ్వు నన్ను వదిలేసావు కదా మిత్రమా, నేను నీ రుణం ఇలా తీర్చుకున్నాను, మన ఫ్రెండ్షిప్లో ఇలా ఏంటి ఏమి ఉండవు అనేసి చెప్తుంది అనమాట. అర్థమైందా పిల్లలు మీకు ఈ కథ? మీకు ఏం అర్థమైంది, మీరేం నేర్చుకున్నారు ఈ కథ వల్ల? ఇవన్నీ చాట్ బాక్స్లో పెట్టండి, సరేనా? మళ్ళీ వచ్చేవారం ఇంకో మంచి కథతోటి మీ ముందుకు వస్తాను, ఓకేనా? ధన్యవాదాలు.
This story is about a little mouse who was living in a farm with his friends and family. One day he felt very adventurous and walked out of the farm. Soon an eagle came and caught him, and it took it to its nest. The eagle wanted to feed the mouse to its babies. The mouse started pleading. Please leave me, he said to the eagle and its babies. Please let me be of some use to you. I'll be here, live with you. Just let me live. Don't eat me. The eagle thought, but my babies, they've been hungry for very long. We haven't eaten anything for days. The baby eagles, they took pity on the mouse and told their mom, Mom, please find something else. Let's leave him. He's pleading and he's so tiny. So they all agreed to let him live. The mouse grew up along with the eagle friends, and they played together and they lived together. Whatever food the mother eagle would find, all the children and the mouse would share it. Soon all of them grew up, the mouse and the eagles, and they were very good friends. One day there came a hunter who caught the eagles in his net. The mouse heard their voices and he came running. He asked the eagles not to worry at all, and with his sharp teeth he cut the net and freed the birds. The eagles were very grateful to the mouse for saving their lives that day. So children, what is the lesson that we learn? What goes around comes around. When you do a good deed, it always comes back to you, isn't it? So let's move to the next story by Dr. Kasturi. Dr. Kasturi is a graduate who loves narrating stories to little children. She is also a motivational speaker. So here is our next story in Tamil.
அன்பு குழந்தைகளே, உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என் இனிய வணக்கம். இன்றைக்கும் ஒரு புதிய கதையை நாம் பார்ப்போமா? ஓர் ஊரில் ஒரு மிகவும் ஏழையான ஒரு மனிதன் இருந்தான். அவனுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டம், காசே கிடைப்பதில்லை. அப்படியே கிடைத்தாலும் அவனுக்கு அந்த காசு சேமித்து வைக்கவும் முடியவில்லை. ஒரு நாள் என்ன செய்தான் என்றால், இவன் வழியில் ரோடில் போய்கொண்டிருக்கும் பொழுது ஒரு காசு கீழே கிடந்தது. அது என்னவென்று எடுத்து பார்க்குறான். அது ஒரு பழைய காலத்து காசு. அந்த காசின் நடுவே ஒரு ஓட்டையும் போட்டிருந்தது. அப்பொழுது அவனுக்கு அவங்க தாத்தா சொன்னது ஞாபகம் வந்தது. என்னன்னா, ஓட்டை துளையிட்ட அந்த காசு இருந்தால் அதிர்ஷ்டம் நிறைய கிடைக்கும், அதை வைத்திருப்பவர்கள் நிச்சயம் மிக பெரும் பணக்காரர்களாக விரைவில் ஆகிவிடுவார்கள் என்று அவர்கள் தாத்தா சொன்னது அவனுக்கு ஞாபகம் வந்தது. அவனுக்கு மகிழ்ச்சியோ மகிழ்ச்சி. ஆனந்தமாக சந்தோஷமாக அந்த காசை எடுத்து தன் சட்டை பைக்குள் போட்டுக்கொண்டான். அன்றிலிருந்து அவனுக்குள் ஒரு நம்பிக்கை. இந்த காசு நமக்கு கிடைச்சிருச்சு, நாம் விரைவில் பெரும் பணக்காரனாக ஆகிவிடுவோம் என்று மிகவும் நம்பிக்கை கொண்டான். அன்றிலிருந்து தினம் அவன் பார்க்கும் பொழுது அன்றைக்கு வியாபாரம் கொஞ்சம் அதிகமாக இருக்கும். கூலி வேலை செஞ்சதிலிருந்து கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக அவன் முன்னேறி 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 போய்கொண்டே இருந்தான். பின்பு நல்ல பதவி கிடைத்தது. அவன் ஒரு காலத்தில், ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட காலத்திற்குள் மிக பெரும் பணக்காரனாகி செல்வந்தனாகி ரொம்ப அழகான அருமையான மகிழ்வான வாழ்க்கையை வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருந்தான். ஒரு நாள் இவன் இப்படி ஒரு 6 மாதம் காலம் சென்ற பின்பு இவனுக்கு ஒரு மனசில் ஒரு ஆசை. இந்த ஓட்டை காசு நமக்கு கிடைத்ததற்கு பின்பு தானே இவ்வளவு நல்ல வாழ்க்கை நமக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்கு, அதை எடுத்து பார்க்க வேண்டும் என்று அவனுக்கு தோன்றியது. அந்த சட்டை பைக்குள் இருந்து அந்த காசை எடுக்க பார்த்தான். அந்த காசே இல்லை. இவனுக்கு ரொம்ப சோகமாயிடுச்சு. தன் உடனே கூப்பிட்டு தன் மனைவிட்ட கேட்டான், எங்க அந்த காசு, நீ இது பாத்தியான்னு கேட்குறான். ஆனால் அந்த மனைவி மிகவும் உண்மையானவள். அவ சொல்றா, சாரி, என்னை மன்னிச்சிடுங்க, நீங்கள் அந்த சட்டையை என்னைக்குமே போட்டுக்கிட்டே இருக்கீங்களா, அது ரொம்ப அழுக்காக இருக்கேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு நாள் அந்த சட்டையை உதறலான்னு நான் பார்த்தேன். நீங்கள் உதறலான்னு பார்த்தேன். அப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா அந்த காசு கீழே உருண்டு விழுந்து போச்சு. நானும் எவ்வளவோ தேடி பார்த்தேன், கிடைக்கவே இல்லை. உங்ககிட்ட சொன்னால் நீங்கள் ரொம்ப வருத்தப்படுவீங்கள்ல, கவலைப்படுவீங்கள்ல, அதனால தான் சொல்லலை, என்னை மன்னிச்சிடுங்க அப்படின்னுது. அப்போ இது எப்போ தொலைஞ்சு போச்சு அப்படின்னு அவன் கேட்குறான். அது காசு 2வது நாளே தொலைஞ்சு போச்சுங்க அப்படின்னு அவன் சொல்கிறான். அப்போ இது வரைக்கும் எனக்கு கிடைத்த அதிர்ஷ்டம் எல்லாம் அப்படின்னு அவன் யோசிக்கிறான். அப்போதான் அவனுக்கு தெரிஞ்சது, இது அதிர்ஷ்டம் அல்ல, நம்பிக்கை. இந்த காசு என்னிடம் இருந்தால் நான் விரைவில் பணக்காரனாகி விடுவேன், பெரும் பணக்காரனாகி விடுவேன், பெரும் செல்வந்தனாகி விடுவேன், எனக்கு பட்டம் பதவியெல்லாம் கிடைச்சிரும் அப்படின்னு அவன் நினைச்சான். அதனால அந்த நம்பிக்கை தான் அவனை இவ்வளோ உயரத்துக்கு கொண்டு வந்ததே தவிர அதிர்ஷ்டம் அல்ல. அதிர்ஷ்டம் என்பது அதுவாக வரக்கூடியது. ஆனால் முயற்சி மட்டும்தான் நம்மை மென்மேலும் உயர்த்தும் என்பதற்கான இந்த கதையினை நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொண்டு புரிந்து கொண்டு தன்னம்பிக்கையுடன் நீங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் வெற்றி பெறுவீர்களாக. என்ன குழந்தைகளே, இந்த கதை உங்களுக்கு பிடித்திருக்கும் என்று நம்புகிறேன். மீண்டும் அடுத்த ஒரு நல்ல கதையுடன் சந்திக்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம், பாய் பாய்.
One day, a man was walking on the street and he found a coin and he picked it up. He looked at the coin and there was a hole in it. He remembered his grandfather telling him that this was supposed to bring luck. It would make any man rich if he had a coin with a hole in it. Feeling very pleased about it, he took the coin and put it in his pocket. He went home. Now this man had a business, so he was very sure that luck would come his way. Soon it turned out to be true. He became richer and richer. and the years rolled by. He now had a bigger business, a bigger home. One day, sitting at his home, he thought about the coin. Oh, it's the coin that brought me all this luck, all this wealth. Let me look at it. So he called his wife. Can you please bring the lucky coin for me? Which coin are you talking about? Said his wife. The coin with the hole that I gave you many years back. I found it on the street. The wife said, That one? Oh, we lost it long back. Really? The man was surprised. When did we lose it? Ah, you had it just for 2 days. You found the coin and I lost it. The man was surprised. He thought about it. He reflected. So all that he had achieved, he thought was luck favoring him. But it was his hard work. It was his belief in himself. So children, when you believe in yourself and you work hard, things definitely come your way. There is a saying, luck favors those who believe in themselves, isn't it? So children, with that, we come to the end of story time. Till then, we'll meet again. Bye-bye.
By Heartfulness.